Number 1, the graph of the function y equals 3x plus 3 is shown below on the coordinate grid. What is the range of the function when the domain is less than or equal to 2? Domain refers to the values on the x-axis. So let's see if we can identify the part of this line that has a domain that is less than or equal to 2. So I'm going to go to the x-axis because that's what domain refers to. And I'm going to take a look at all the numbers that are less than or equal to 2. That would be all the numbers that are on this line that are less than or equal to an x value of 2. So we wouldn't really include any part of the line that is to the right of 2. We're only going to be talking about the part of the line that falls to the left of that vertical line at 2. So we want to figure out what the range is. The range is going to be the part, where does the line run vertically? Well, if I take this point and I look only at the line to the left of this particular point, all of the values of the line are either 5 or less than. So I'm going to choose B. The range is less than or equal to 5. Number 2 is a probability question. It says Miss Sandoval's knitting basket contains 3 balls of blue, 2 balls of white, and 3 balls of red yarn. One evening, Miss Sandoval randomly selected a ball of yarn from her basket and replaced it after she finished knitting. Anytime you work a probability question, you have to read closely and look for the information whether you are replacing the items after they're chosen or whether you don't replace those items. It makes a difference in how you set up your probability. But she is selecting a ball of yarn and then she is putting it back. The next evening she selected another ball of yarn. What is the probability that on the first evening she selected a white and on that second evening the ball of yarn was red? So we want the probability of picking a white ball of yarn on the first day and a red ball of yarn on the second day. So we want the probability of white times the probability of picking up red, and we're going to multiply those two probabilities together. And probabilities typically show up in fraction form, and you can tell by the answer choices that we most likely are going to be working this problem out using fractions. Let's go back to the types of yarns that we're working with. We have 3 balls of blue yarn, so I'm going to use B for blue. We have 2 balls of white yarn, so I'm going to use W for white. We have 3 balls of red yarn, so I'm going to use R for red. And that will visually help us out keeping track of how many we're working with. Looks like we have 8 balls of yarn to pick from. So on the first day, Miss Sandoval randomly selects a ball of yarn, and the probability of picking a white is going to be 2 out of the 8 balls of yarn that are there. So the probability of picking a white one is 2 out of 8. Times the next night, remember she put it back, so all 8 balls of yarn are still there. The next night she wants to find the probability or what would happen if she was going to pick a red. Well, choosing a red out of all 8, because they've all been put back, is 3 out of 8. We will multiply these probabilities together and reduce our fractions. Multiply straight across, use your calculator if you need to. 6 over 64 is the probability of picking a white ball of yarn on the first evening and a red ball of yarn on the second evening. I don't see that answer, so it looks like I need to just reduce my fraction, and I have a probability of 3 over 32. So choice C is the answer.